Alright, hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today I just wanted to take up a question that came in around stakeholder management, and since we are covering stakeholder management these days. So the question was, till when should you keep identifying stakeholders, right? We talked about how there could be a hell lot of stakeholders in your project. So till what time, till what phase of the project should you keep on and looking for stakeholders in your project, right? So that's something that you don't actually stop. This is a never ending process. So you keep looking for stakeholders throughout the life of your project. And as you progress in your project, the requirements of the stakeholders can also change. So not only do you need to keep a tab on who your stakeholders are as part of your project, you also need to make sure that you know what their requirements are. So you need to keep a tab on the requirements of these stakeholders as well. But one thing that I'd like to mention here is, although identifying stakeholders can be something that is an ongoing process that you keep doing throughout the life cycle of your project, the influence that the stakeholders may have on your project, that could be the most when you're starting off with your project. That's when you're coming up with the requirements of the project. That's when you're finalizing the scope of the project. And that's when people, all three of them, those that can impact your project, those that can be impacted by your project, and those that perceive to be impacted by your project, all three of them, these stakeholders, that's when they will be most active towards the beginning of your project, because that's when you have the scope in mind. That's when you have proposed this revolutionary idea of the project that you have. We took an example of how a cliched example of how you are going to be constructing a mall on a land which is right now a public park. So when you propose this idea, right, when this idea goes out in the open for the first time, you will have a lot of stakeholders, and during the initial phases of the project is when these stakeholders will exert most of their influence. This is when they will be most interested in your project, all kinds of stakeholders. As you progress in the project, it is possible that some of the stakeholders, specifically the ones that perceived that they were going to be impacted by a project, maybe you have managed them well, and maybe they now feel that they are not going to be impacted as part of your project. So they may move away, right? So the impact that stakeholders will have on your project is going to be the most during the beginning, during the initiation phase of your project. Later on, as things move on, the influence and the impact that different stakeholders may have on your project is going to come down. But finding stakeholders, identifying stakeholders, that's something that you never stop. So just wanted to answer this question, so created this small video. We are going to continue our discussion on stakeholder management, so stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com. See you soon. Bye-bye.